Hey friends, I have a fun recipe attempt for you today. I thought it would be fun to try to make a keto filet of fish sandwich based on the McDonald's filet of fish, but I'm not trying super hard to mimic the exact flavors of that. Just using those basic pieces, the filet of fish, the cheese, the tartar sauce, the bun, and see how a keto version turns out. So the recipe that I used for the buns is my yeasted next level butter bread recipe, just cooked into bun shapes. I decided not to use my butter bun recipe because it has a little bit denser of a texture. It's kind of like similar to like a bagel texture or something like that, which is great on its own or with like cream cheese. But for the bun, I wanted it to be softer because you want it to be really easy to eat as a sandwich. So I thought the yeasted butter bread, next level butter bread recipe would be the best. I did half a recipe and that made 5 buns. I didn't want to mound the batter really, really high because again, I didn't want a huge bun. I just wanted it to be kind of a basic smallish burger bun size. And I did find that I made one mistake. This is the first time I made the buns on a mesh pan and put them to rise in my dehydrator without having a pan directly underneath the mesh pan. And so some of the butter did drip out. So next time I will make sure to have a pan or one of my silicone liners directly under the mesh liner. So my buns are cooking and the next thing I need to do is mix up the tartar sauce. So I'm not trying to exactly mimic the McDonald's tartar sauce as far as spices and things like that. I have a way that I like to make tartar sauce and I'm just gonna be using that for this recipe. Just a quick break to chat about Element, who is the sponsor of today's video. Element is an electrolyte supplement. It has everything that you need and nothing that you don't. In each pack, there's 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And that is a science-backed ratio of electrolytes that can help you stay hydrated, whether you're an athlete or just a stay-at-home mom like I am. Especially on keto, carnivore, and low-carb diets, you can lose electrolytes really, really fast. And so keeping up on your electrolyte supplementation can really help you feel your best. And right now, Element is offering my viewers a special deal where if you place any order on their website using my link, you will receive a free sample pack. The sample pack contains their 8 regular flavors, so you can try them all out, or it's a perfect way to share Element with a friend. To get this deal, just go to drinkelement.com/indigo. That's DRINKLMNT.com/indigo. Place your order and you will get your free sample pack. Thank you to Element for sponsoring this video, and thank you for supporting the companies that support my channel. When it comes to tartar sauce, I don't typically measure. I just kind of throw things in until it looks right, but I will be measuring for you guys today so I can actually write down the recipe. I'm gonna start with about a cup of mayo. Then I have a little over a 1/4 cup of diced up pickles. It's just this brand. I love to use the ones that are naturally fermented because you get all the good probiotics. So I'm just gonna throw those in here. And then to take the flavor up a little bit of a notch, a little bit of pickled jalapenos goes a long way. These are, they say medium heat, but really I would call them mild. So about 2 tablespoons of chopped or diced jalapenos. Then for other seasoning, I like to put in a little dash of the Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. You don't want to put a ton of this because it will make it spicy, unless you want it spicy, of course. It already has salt from the pickles and there's salt in the Creole seasoning, so I may not add any salt, but I have it here just in case. And then a little bit of black pepper. I'm gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And I'm also gonna go ahead and do a 1/4 teaspoon of the Creole seasoning. Now, the next thing you wanna add is pickle juice. And you just basically add enough pickle juice to get the tartar sauce to the consistency that you want. For this amount, it'll probably be about 2 tablespoons. I'll start off with 2 tablespoons and see if I need to add any more. Now, obviously this is a full batch of tartar sauce and you will not use all of this on your 1 or 2 sandwiches. All right, that is looking like the consistency I want. There it is. I'm gonna give it a little taste just to make sure it doesn't need any more salt. Yeah, so it's definitely salty enough, so I'm not gonna add any more of that. I'm gonna pop a lid on this and put it in the fridge and let the flavors marry a little bit until it's time to put the sandwich together. Now on to the fish. I have 2 small pieces of cod here, and apparently the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish is made with Alaskan pollock, and I couldn't find that at the grocery store. I figured cod would be a good substitute. I, of course, am using my protein breading recipe that I've been using on so many things recently and still absolutely loving. I'm gonna make a half a batch here because I only have the 2 pieces of fish to bread. So I'm gonna start with 1 ounce of the unseasoned pork rinds. Of course, you could use a seasoned one. I will add a little bit of seasoning to the breading. There's not really any distinctive flavors in the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish breading as far as I could find. So I'm just gonna add some like garlic and onion and some black pepper. And then there's already salt added to the pork rinds, so I won't add any salt. So 1 ounce of pork rinds, and then half a tablespoon or 5 grams of the gelatin powder. You can use any gelatin powder. I like the Now brand beef gelatin. And then a 1/4 cup of the egg white powder, and that comes to 20 grams. Then for seasoning, I'm just gonna add 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder or granulated garlic, and also 1/8 of a teaspoon of the granulated onion, and again about 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. Just gonna stir that until it's all combined. Before I go any further with breading the fish, I'm gonna start getting my pan heated up. And I'm gonna start heating it up at medium high, but before I start cooking, I will turn it down to medium. You really want to make sure the pan is not too hot because you will burn the breading super fast, and you don't want the outside to have to burn in order for the inside to get all the way cooked. For frying, I love to use bacon grease. Super cost effective because I've already paid for the bacon, and it just makes stuff taste absolutely delicious. So I'm gonna put about a cup into my pan here so we can get as close to deep frying as possible without actually deep frying. Okay, that's just gonna sit here and melt and heat up while I bread my fish. So for my wet mixture here that I'm dipping my fish into, I just have 1 egg beat up with about a tablespoon of heavy cream. I'm just getting that all soaked and then getting the fish completely coated in the breading. The buns have been cooking for 25 minutes, and I should have checked them earlier, maybe because they were so small. They cooked a lot faster. They got kind of brown, but they're not burnt, so I think they'll be fine. So I'd probably start checking them around 20 minutes instead of 25. I'm turning the heat down to just below medium, and it's looking pretty hot, but I will check real quick with a little bit of breading. And yes, it is definitely ready to cook. I have a little bit of breading left over, and my favorite thing to do with leftover breading is just make some onion rings because I usually have an onion available to chop up real fast. I'm expecting this will take about 3 minutes on each side. One thing I continue to love about this breading is how it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. The sticking is just so minimal, and I love it. So as far as cook time on the fish, I'm gonna say 2 to 4 minutes per side, depending on the thickness of the fish. That's definitely going to be the thing that makes a difference. So always check for doneness. Oh man, those look so good. All the elements are done, and I am going to get these put together. I am very excited. I can't see how this is not going to taste amazing. Okay, so for the cheese on the McDonald's Filet-O-Fish is half a piece of American cheese. I'm not gonna do just half a piece, that seems kind of silly. But I did have some organic American cheese available, so I'm gonna use that. I had to check the picture to see the order the things went in. First, let me show you the inside of this bun. Oh my goodness. It's so light and airy. So we're gonna do the cheese on the bottom, then the fish, Then the tartar sauce. Oh my goodness. So, little known fact about me, I worked at McDonald's when I was a teenager. I didn't hardly ever get the filet of fish though. It just wasn't my sandwich, but it just sounds so good right now. Okay, here we go. Definitely looks different than the McDonald's filet of fish. The bun is the main difference, I think. But I think it looks pretty tasty. All right, it's time for the taste test. Oh my goodness, this looks so good. All right, here we go. See that flaky fish in there? Granted, I don't really remember what a filet of fish from McDonald's tastes like, but all I can tell you is this is really good. Wow. All right, this is gonna be my lunch today. I'm gonna go enjoy this. I'll be putting together the whole recipe, and so you can find that in a link down in the description. Thanks so much for hanging out in the kitchen with me today, and I will just see you again in another video.